All the drinks are cold, the drinks are cold, all the drinks are cold. I've been on a bender.
Now I can hear.
Yeah.
Erich, I don't know if you checked the comment section on Low Res's upload of last night's podcast, but they're saying Erich is very sexy and handsome.
I thought you were going to bring up the Indian who's taking a gripe with Hans.
I didn't see that one. What did he say?
Okay, you got to go to the video because it's kind of a lengthier one.
Okay, I'll pull it up.
All right, let's get
recording in progress
on here. Why not? Hey, this is Movies, a podcast about the act of kino. And with me today is Erich.
Is it? That's right. It's me.
Amazing. Do you have the comment?
So I'm scrolling to find your upload of the body double episode, and it's not pop. I might have went right past it. You put this up this morning?
That's correct. I think you got to go by, you know how they'll hide the comments that are a little more offensive, and you got to go to like all comments instead of top comments?
Okay, here's a big one. Is it Satyarth Singh? Is that why you think it's an Indian person, or is there?
I mean, it's a pretty ethnic sounding name.
Sounds pretty.
Yeah, there's no
Indian
profile
name,
picture,
yeah.
but he says this 40-year-old broken bald incel guy is insufferable. Knew this son of a bitch was an imbecile. You know, maybe you should have thought people of color might watch your content, and here we go. 19 minutes in, a racist slur comes out of your 4chan inbred mouth. Is that because he said Pajit?
This is because of the conversation on the Body Double episode where you were talking about the demographics of the flight. And how
okay. All right.
it might be a smelly flight.
I think midgets should probably be more offended by that episode than anybody else, because we actually concluded that blacks and Indians are the ideal people to fly with, given Eggy's story about the white family. And I don't see this man sticking up for midgets in his pathetic comment here, so... Yeah, I think he's a hypocrite.
You know, I wish we got some sort of update or development from Hans on if the midget search has yielded any results, if he's gotten any matches, if anyone has matched with him.
Well, we should mention the elephant not in the room. Those who listen to my version of the Body Double podcast heard a different ending where most of us, let's say the vast majority of people here, were prepared to review Edington immediately after Body Double. But a certain Hans, he had something else in mind. He said, you know what, guys, I promise I'll finish watching the movie, come back this time tomorrow, and we could do it. And I was on the fence, like, I don't know, I'm all prepared and ready to talk about Edington. I prepared for it all day. Maybe we do it without Hans, but I took pity on him. I said, okay, I'll give you 24 full hours of my life to wait to do this podcast, and you can finish watching this excellent movie that anybody should be desperate to spend their time watching in the first place, and not procrastinating for any reason, because it is a great film. And boys, it is 24 hours later after the to be continued, and Hans isn't here.
What's worse is, you know, I told you guys I have a hard out, and this is a little on me because I'm like 15 minutes late to this podcast. I have a hard out at 7 o'clock because I got to start a different show with a guest to talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And Hans let me know that he didn't even watch that yet as of the time. And guess what? I'm traveling tomorrow, so it's not like this is an easy reschedule. We've got to do all these within the month. It's a big question mark. Is people wondering if Hans watches these movies? I have to wonder that myself now, because now we have potentially 2 strikes in one day.
I think Hans had enough deniability throughout the show that you could say, oh yeah, he's watched enough of them that he does watch things every now and then. But yeah, this is a serious
I wish he should have showed up today and just pretended that he did watch it. I would have respected that more than to promise us, begging on his hands and knees, no, please give me a day to finish this movie, to podcast with you. And then he doesn't put in any effort to do that. He wasted all 4 of our time. He wasted. Erich had something else to do today. He rescheduled it so he could do this with Hans. We could have just done this last night and it would be exactly the same. So fuck Hans. As far as I'm concerned, 96 of our human life hours are like, he owes a debt to us for this.
Yeah.
Far beyond any of the Fred bullshit. Like, he needs a severe punishment. 100 hours of labor
I think I've got to subject him to castration movie 2 at this point. I had him sit out of the first one. I just recorded that with MLH because he's down for anything. He can be talked into watching a 3.5 hour trans castration movie. Castration movie 2 is 5 hours. Is a hell of a lot
Jesus
worse.
Christ.
And I thought I was doing him a favor so he could be freed up since we got like a big influx. And by the way, if you want to pick a horror movie for Hans and I to watch, or at least me, go to patreon.com/lowers, pay $75. We got so many of these. I'm thinking like, okay, I'll do him a favor by putting him on the sidelines, but he couldn't even be bothered to finish Eddington or watch Halloween 2. I don't know. I don't know how to take
All
this.
right, audience, here we go. Democracy in action here. If any further grievances on behalf of the Costa Rican population are inflicted upon the paying customers of the movie podcast, I offer myself to watch and review with low res if Hans cannot be capable of doing it. So, you know what? If that sounds like something, make sure to like and subscribe to both channels hosting this.
Yeah, can we get a
Absolutely.
hashtag or a petition to replace Hans with Eggy on every episode of movies? And can we like
You really
CGI
wanna do
him into Mass State Lottery to replace Hans in the film as well?
Hashtag movies with eggs.
That could be something. That could be something to entertain for Miami State Lottery, especially since Eggy, you're very Florida bound these days. It could work. It could make sense.
He looks
That's
like
true.
a Florida man in the newspaper.
So
They got that.
Eddington, I feel like is an easy watch, even though it's almost 3 hours or it's a little over 3 hours long, right? I know I've done a show on this once before. I went to the theater expecting my response to the movie to be pretty much what I felt towards One Battle After Another, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the movie in every way. The fact that I went to go see 3 Pedro Pascal movies this year in the theater, and I liked him in all 3. I was.
You
very
liked him in
taken aback by it.
Fantastic
Damn.
Four?
Yeah, I did not mind him in Fantastic Four.
What was his character in that? No, we don't have time to dissect that corpse. If you
Mr.
have to leave
Fantastic.
early, we got it. I was curious. A lot of the co-hosts are the people who appear as a guest on movies. I'll end up following on Letterboxd because I like the opinions they share on this program. But interestingly, one Ryan Jackson's review, I think he might have drank some Kool-Aid. I think he fell for it. Yeah, nothing against Ryan Jackson, but he says Ari Aster's Coen Brothers COVID Western with Antifa super soldiers.
Yes.
He thinks the people at the end were Antifa. He fell for
I
the
thought they were
propaganda.
Antifa.
Ryan, you're
I
being
thought it too.
manipulated.
You're being manipulated, dude. That's literally the plot of the film. Is the guy blaming all of his political assassinations on Antifa?
Well, you have Antifa, right? But they've clearly been summoned by the tech company. It's actually, private corporation soldiers that have been trained to do this exact sort of thing.
Exactly. So it's not Antifa super soldiers killing the racist cops. It's, the guy we put into a political position here to trick this community into ruining it with our super solid gold magic carp tech scam to suck up all the water in the region. Like, that's the whole point of the entire movie is that.
Yeah.
And this is a man standing up against the system politically. So of course he's going to be assassinated. And when the assassination doesn't go through, he becomes literally a retarded puppet of the very thing he was trying to prevent. And it's like the cruelest, saddest ending possible for Joe Cross.
Yeah, the movie begins with that image of the data center, and one of the last images is the data center. And that is what the entire movie is kind of premised on, is that these forces are invading our lives. They're destroying any sense of community or any sense of like togetherness that we can feel in order to just like make chaos, and then they just get the scraps of whatever's left.
And the COVID
order to do
storyline
whatever.
is the smokescreen to distract the normal people with this fucking bullshit turning us against each other. And it's a reflection of real life. During COVID, the billionaires, the 1%, they sucked up, another $800 billion out of the normal people? That's what COVID was. We're all distracted, turning against our own neighbors and getting pissed about wearing a fucking mask in a car while you're alone in it. Meanwhile, our politicians sold out the country to the billionaires. That's what this film is about. That's why it's a 5-star masterpiece, best film of the year. Sorry, low res, but Mass State Lottery is now number 2 on my list. after this rewatch, I had to admit, this is the best.
All right, so now I regret this show. But I mean, I can't really be mad at that. Eddington currently, as of the time we're recording this, October 15th, this will come out in my feed anyway. A little later on, because we're doing nothing but horror movies. This is my #1 movie of the year so far.
Even above Mass State Lottery.
Well, Mass State Lottery, if you take a look at my actual letterbox, it's at the very bottom. So
It's
that's not even. I can't rank my movie. I can't do that. So the film to me feels like it is as politically charged, and it has its finger on the pulse in a way that reminds me of like 1970s paranoid conspiracy films like The Parallax View or All the President's Men. There's tons of these movies that came out during that time period where you watch them and they're very politically awake and they're aware of what the mechanisms are that are in play that are kind of taboo to talk about in like the last 20 years, but it just used to be mainstream. You could talk about these things. Oliver Stone to JFK. And any part of JFK, whether you agree with what the theory is in that or not, for Warner Brothers to back that movie, for it to be the #1 movie in America and such an enormous hit, when it's dealing with like what should be an inflammatory subject, audiences were more sophisticated back in the day. And showing up for this, it kind of felt like, okay, there's a real opportunity here to get back to that. We can go back to that style of filmmaking. And the split reaction from critics, I think, is a fantastic sign of that.
I mean, I think that's generally true, is that whenever people are unsure of what to think about something, it probably means the movie has struck something that is important to see. I think the point you made about these movies from the 70s and 80s, they would come out alongside or a couple of years after the actual events that inspired them. And nowadays you have people saying, oh, it's too soon to talk about that or do that. No, it's not too soon. It's never too soon. They had 9/11 movies a couple of years after. It's just not.
I think
movies
this
are always
movie
going to delve into these issues.
This movie is a huge political Rorschach test because I've seen people, extreme liberals, give it 5 stars, and they think the film is damning Joe Cross above all else, and it's a satire about conservatives through Joaquin Phoenix's character. And on this rewatch, I feel like Joe Cross is written to be, again, cartoonishly, like I said about Sean Penn previously, but cartoonishly good. He's the embodiment of human kindness and decency for the first hour of the film. He's buying his wife a bouquet of flowers. He has his employees buying her shitty artwork to make her feel better. It's like the scene in The Room when Johnny buys the bouquet just because Tommy Wiseau wants to prove he's a good guy, but times 100, and it's the entire opening hour.
I mean, I think it's also worth pointing out that at first he does not support the data center as well. It starts out and he is against certain things, and the liberal kind of is he the governor or is he the mayor? The mayor, yeah. So the mayor is for all of these developments and all of this giving into the economic interests of the surrounding areas, but he's kind of going with what the people are saying, which is, no, we don't want this.
But he's also the embodiment of just rational thought in the times of COVID, where people are losing their minds and going crazy. The opening scene, he's sitting alone in his truck with the mask not on, and the Native Americans are now a tool of the oppressive government that they should be against historically, but no, they're the tool that says, hey, put on your mask when you're on our land, even if you're alone in your car. Brain dead retardation, just following the rules because the rules are in place. No thought of rationality or humanity. And here's the real Rorschach test, and I'm dead serious. That scene in the grocery store when they kick out the old man who can't breathe with the mask on, and everybody decides he should just starve to death. There's no other grocery store in Edington. It's better for him to starve to death than to let him in here and shop without his mask. And when he's kicked out and all the citizens start clapping in celebration, if you don't get a sick feeling of disgust and despair in your stomach at that, I genuinely think you should be killed. I think you're not a human. If you're the type of person who would clap, you're definitely subhuman and should be guillotined immediately. And I guarantee Ari Aster feels the same way. The way it's all portrayed in the movie, like, these are not my fellow man when they're clapping that an elderly man can't get food. And then Joe Cross buys his groceries. You're gonna tell me this man isn't written to be more holy than Jesus? He's literally a living saint who does nothing wrong. And even when he commits his political assassination, it's against somebody who the film portrays as Satan. He's literally the devil. We see the entire system of corruption that put him into place and every person above him who's benefiting from this tech scam. So, like, I think morally, he's in the right to kill these people who are going to destroy this community with their AI nonsense. So, can anybody, E-Rich, did you think when everybody clapped at the old man getting kicked out, did you think Ari Aster was supporting that mindset?
That he should be kicked out, or that he should...
That, like these people are not demons in human skin celebrating this man getting kicked out.
I mean, it's definitely one of those moments of, society has turned upside down and people are supporting something that shouldn't be supported.
So when Griffin Newman gives us a 5-star review and his review is just, you're being manipulated, did he literally misunderstand the film? He thought that it was on his side politically, and he's a fucking idiot.
I don't know. I mean... I think there should be other forms for him to get his groceries.
You guys want to hear the most fucked up thing? Everybody thinks that Joe Cross is supposed to be a satirical idiot because his sign says you're being manipulated and you're spelled wrong. He tells the black guy to go to Kinko's and make the signs. You fucking morons. You guys are so fucking stupid.
I didn't even catch that.
Did you watch the same movie?
I think Ari Aster worked from a place of, okay, I'm going to build this character to be sort of the rational, relatable center, and then let me see if I can just kind of, twirl this notch here to make him less relatable, to make him less sympathetic. And then he does it again later on by setting up the black cop, which I really think is like... there's a midway point here where we see him get disrespected by Pedro Pascal when he goes to shut off the radio because there's a disturbance. Like, he actually lures Joe Cross out and slaps him in the face. He assaults him. And then Joe Cross goes on the assassination mission. And I think there's a chunk of the audience, myself included, that are like, yeah, good. Fuck him. Fuck his son.
Yeah.
His horrible son, too. Fuck them both. I hate them.
He's a corrupt politician. Like, that's the only solution. You don't vote them out. I'm sorry.
And then around the time that he winds up pinning the murders on the otherwise innocent, what is he, a deputy? The black deputy who is his partner's son or his boss's son or something along those lines. He had some sort of deeper connection there through, the job. That is where I think Ari Aster gets a little too concerned with trying to divorce any sort of attachment to that character, so you feel good about what his outcome is.
I think at that point, when he's committing the assassination, I don't think he was planning on pinning it on the black guy, but when the Native American inspector comes in and starts muddying it up, now he has to panic and the walls are closing in, and like the final hour of the movie is just he's doing anything he can to survive. And he's not making, the good, rational choices anymore.
I think that's what makes it very interesting as a Western movie, is the Joe Cross is he's the police chief, so you've got the police chief versus the mayor, so you've got that political struggle between the two, and then you've got the Indians, and instead of the Indians being like these terrible savages that are on the outside, the Indians are kind of like a little bit more on top of things than everyone else. So when everybody else is struggling to figure out what's going on, you have that same Indian enemy, but it's in a different aspect. I really like the way he plays with the Western in that way.
When the Indian is inspecting Joe Cross's tires, that fucking cracked me up. It's so funny.
Yeah, him seeing the E on the campaign ideas. Out of all the things to be set up till that point and everything that's going on with Michael being imprisoned and I think, I think there's a combination of things because, one, he is panicking because that officer Butterfly, I think is his name, the native officer. I mean, there's not much. You can't just tell him to go away. He's conducting an investigation. He's all within his grounds to be there conducting this investigation, so he can't really just shake him off. Michael, he knows that he's been kind of tangentially adjacent to some of these younger people. This young girl with Sarah, he's had some contact with her. The George Floyd events are depicted in the movie, and there's sort of a scene where they're kind of discussing this with Michael, and he's a little standoffish. He's not immediately pivoting to the side of it's once the information comes out, once the kneeling video and everything is kind of revealed that he's seen it or whatever, he's kind of he's digesting it. He's kind of figuring out his opinion isn't just immediately snapping one way or the other to be in line with the rest of the officers. So I think maybe on a small level that might have kind of played into Joe Cross's panicked mind of not that he had a lot of options necessarily of who to start pointing the fingers at, but it might have given Michael a little more weight on his shoulders to be the target versus guy, perhaps.
And to give Joe Cross a little bit more leeway, he does literally think that this man raped his wife, even though the movie leaves a lot of ambiguity. Personally, I think it was Emma Stone's father doing the raping, and that's why she started making her horrible artwork at age 10. And the fact that all that information is dropped on us, back to back, it seems pretty obvious to me. But Joe Cross doesn't know that.
I generally don't mind when smaller roles are occupied by bigger actors, but if I had a complaint with this movie, it's not even really a complaint. I thought the Emma Stone and specifically more Austin Butler scenes felt like it was I don't know, when you have that dinner that's hardly a dinner where they just show up and they're occupying Joe Cross and the mother-in-law's time, it starts to pull you out of the narrative a little bit.
Yeah, I felt like I was missing just something. There was just one extra thing that was not getting me to where the movie wanted me to be.
Do you guys know what they were talking
Austin
about?
Butler at fault.
Do you remember what they're talking about at that dinner scene? And they introduce that random couple who's always hanging out with them?
Well, they're basically doing... I mean, Ari Aster, I think, has a preoccupation with the time period where he wants to do COVID, he wants to do a couple of different things, but he also wants to do Comet Ping Pong, Pizzagate, child molestation, tunnels, and The Hunt, and so it feels like, okay, you're maybe putting in a little too much here. And I thought Beau Was Afraid similarly did that, but that was just chaotic.
I think this is different though, because they're not conspiracy theorists. That couple are literally children who were in the sex trafficking trade who escaped. So he's acknowledging that this shit is real, and Austin Butler is on this crusade against violence against children, and that's why Emma Stone leaves her husband for this guy, because she was raped as a child by her dad, and she hates sickos more than anything, and that's her whole rant at that dinner is I hate sickos.
Do you see Austin Butler as a positive figure for her or in her life?
I don't really care. I think that scene explains why she is so motivated to leave her husband for him, because his whole life making YouTube videos or whatever he's doing, Austin Butler, is the crusade against sickos, and that's what she's obsessed with because of her past. So it all makes sense to me.
I think we have, Joe Cross being the sheriff, her father having been a sheriff. I think there's probably something lingering there that's a lingering discontent.
Yeah.
I also feel like how you're mentioning he's this paragon of good because he's sort of artificially keeping her artwork being sold or whatever. I feel like there could be a sort of a meaning there, maybe that her not being allowed or given a position to sort of face the trauma that she went through honestly, in a way that is honest with everybody around her and is going to allow that to heal. It's being kind of artificially just sort of, oh well, that happened. I felt like there was something there, like a parallel of just let's try to keep a happy face. Let's keep on just kind of not really digging into this the way that we need to. And yeah, her mother being so stuck on always kind of keeping on top of the conspiracies or whatever that's going on, that then allows Emma Stone's character to kind of get inclined into looking into that kind of stuff herself, seeing what's going on and being introduced to this. I think it allowed her a sort of the valve being released, and she could kind of begin to face some of these things that she went through, and she's able to grow as a person. So even though Austin Butler's character might seem a little huckstery, a little grifty, a little, like that might be what it looks like on the surface, really, I think he's allowing her to be more honest with herself and overcome some of these hang-ups that she's had where in the place that she's been in life up to that point.
And Emma Stone knows that God, what was his character's name? The mayor?
Ted Garcia.
Ted Garcia.
Yeah. So Emma Stone would know that Ted Garcia did not rape her, as her insane mother is telling everybody. This woman who her whole life is reading conspiracy theories, and then she just turned her own life into one. Like, I walked in on my husband raping my 10-year-old daughter. I'm completely mind fucked for life. I guess it was some random Ted Garcia who did it, and that's what fucked her up. So this woman's crazy, and that is the darkest irony, is that Joe Cross starts off hating this woman, but since he's a saint, he's letting her stay in his house. And then when he becomes the brain-dead puppet mayor, this conspiracy theory nutcase woman becomes his mouthpiece and allows the very tech company he's trying to prevent to be brought in. So very dark. But I forgot what point I was making about Emma Stone.
So I was gonna say, tying in with the Emma Stone stuff, is Joe Cross's is his worst sin that he commits is saying that revealing that information about his wife.
Right, and that is the turning point where she leaves him, because she knows he did not rape her. So the fact that her husband's announcing that on Facebook, it's probably a good reason to leave somebody.
Where it's held, what was it, the Mexican Greek food place?
And only 7 people showed up. He was hoping for a bigger attendance.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. So well done by Joaquin. I forget how much I enjoy him in movies, and then he'll pop up in something like this, and it is always such a delight. I mean, with Pedro Pascal, did anyone else get the impression before you learned about his backstory and his wife running off that he was gay? Because when you open to him on the ranch, there's a picture of him and his son embracing, like it's a fucking Tim and Eric background photo or something. It's very homoerotic. And
that was further evidence that I think Ari Aster considers Ted Garcia to be the embodiment of Satan. To make a political ad about your real life family trauma and to force your underage son to be in it just so you can get more votes, that's just fucking cruel and dark.
Yeah, but then, maybe it's the upbringing that caused, I think, what was it, Eric was the kid's name, to be that way. But you can definitely get some of that energy that he sees, how his dad works the political system, and he's kind of, in with the corruption for his own benefit, and that he sees how that works for him, and he kind of has that same inclination that he wants to, be manipulative and make things work for him using the power that he's able to access.
I liked it when Joaquin Phoenix is on the megaphone on his car, and Ted Garcia's kid comes up talking shit, and he says "fucking faggot," and it's over the intercom still. Yeah, delete that last part.
That's right.
There's little lines like that really made me laugh in the theater when I went to go see this. I mean, specifically,
the kid going home to his family.
The line I was actually thinking of was when he's watching the TV ad or something for Ted Garcia, and there's a bunch of black people, and he says it's just a very throwaway line. He's like, "What is this? The Jeffersons?"
Are you fucking retarded? What the fuck are you talking about? You're white. Now my intro for this episode was going to be saying that to Hans, and he ruined it.
Oh man, I just started losing it in the theater during that part.
Well, Lores, as a filmmaker who released a film with the word faggot in it, who got some complaints saying, "Oh, I can't believe he has the word faggot in his movie," don't you relate to Anora and to this film? Real Kino filmmakers putting real words into their movie?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare Mass State Lottery to that and the Best Picture winner from last year, by all means, I'm never going to stop you. But, it's kind of crazy how still people are uncomfortable with the word faggot or even just retard. And retard's like everywhere now. You can turn on like ABC Family and someone will call somebody else retarded. Like that's just all over the place.
Well, Eggy gave us the
Imagine what would
pass, so
happen
we
on
can
the-
say it on this show.
That's right.
There we go. I couldn't imagine what would happen if, some ends got thrown around here and there.
Yeah.
They weren't chopped out.
We could avoid that one.
Well, see, you're lucky because they don't know how to operate a computer or like type, so they can't complain in the comment section.
Ends?
They have emojis, but no retards.
We're going to get another comment like the Indian one, but for Eggy this time. Yo,
Listen, we're all
dog.
racially diverse and mentally diverse around here, so lay off, to be honest.
You guys are collecting these comments like Pokemon cards.
The last third of this movie, I compared it when I originally recorded the episode, but the last third of the movie reminds me so much of an S. Craig Zoller film.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Brawl in Cell Block 99 or Dragon
Oh, yes.
Cross
I've seen them
Concrete or any
all.
of those films?
Mm-hmm. All of them. Bone Tomahawk, not so much, but it's not as
Oh, that's
not as
terrific,
country
too.
western set.
I thought Brawl in Cell Block 99 was the Serbian film of prison films, so it's an automatic 5-star for me.
Yeah, I mean, you have a guy's face being literally dragged across concrete in that movie, and being torn apart. I really love the effects. I love the cheap manual analog nature of some of those effects. Even like the cutaway at the very end of the guy's head exploding, the gunfighting, the suspense, the everything that happens, which unfolds once the town goes to shit after these Antifa super soldiers invade, reminded me so much of the ending of like a S. Craig Zoller film, and I really appreciate that because I miss his directing. I miss his movies.
Erich, what was that news about him?
He's working on something. Yeah, he's working on
Yeah,
something.
you posted
recently.
an article that was pretty exciting, or maybe he wrote something. Maybe
There's two things that are in development right now. He's got a movie where it was going to be Vince Vaughn and Adrian Brody, and it's called The Bookie and the Bruiser, but Adrian Brody won Best Actor, and suddenly he's like,
And so he dropped out.
My schedule is very busy. I got Damien Chazelle at my door.
for
So
the
now
best.
that's
I
gonna be
can't
Theo
stand him.
James.
Right.
So I don't know what the status of that is. It looked like it was ready to go up until he won Best Actor. And then the other one is a Western that he wrote that Park Chan-wook, who did Old Boy.
Yeah, that was what Erich posted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That might
Yeah.
be, that's been in development for a while, though. That was like a 2010 script. And I guess Park is still wanting to make the movie.
That's cool. I'd be down for that. Yeah, the paranoia in this segment where he's just looking around like everywhere, being like, is somebody gonna pop out and start shooting at me? It's just it's so great.
But he goes into
When he
that
lands
racist
in that
Nazis
big
gun
gun
store and
store.
gets the biggest. What would you call that kind of
That's
gun?
the biggest like Gatling gun.
Yeah,
Straight up minigun. That's what it was in San Andreas. And I Serious Sam. But yeah, definitely. I think everything. I mean, I enjoyed the entire movie, and for I think mostly all reasons that have been covered for the most part. But yeah, definitely the following the assassination scene and just the discernment from the native police officers, like, oh, well, the shell was found on Pueblo land, so this is our investigation. Here's that. Immediately, he's like, yeah, and then he like ruins the evidence that's in the house by a guy touching it with his bare hands. He's like, well, enjoy your pile of garbage. This is nothing here. I'm going to go do my investigation now. And just, it's like the fuse is lit at that point, like that, that something's going to have to give, and how it just continues to ramp up and masterful.
yeah. Joaquin Phoenix does comedy of errors about as good as anybody. Like, he's very funny in Beau is Afraid as the world's falling apart around him. And the latter half of this movie, Joe Cross he's up against forces perhaps out of his league, but he somehow manages to squeak by and survive, which ends up being a fate worse than death. I kind of wish he would have been killed. Although it was nice to
that's
see
the
his
better.
full cock and balls on display.
So you have like a Kyle Rittenhouse surrogate in this movie who is credited with saving his life because he gets stabbed in the head, right? By one of these super soldiers, as they've been called. And yeah, he does wind up having this very pathetic fate where his mother-in-law is his caretaker, his closest confidant, and they kind of lead you to believe maybe there's a romantic relationship there.
I think he's laying in bed next to her fucking other men.
Yes, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually more of like a cuck-bull relationship with his actual caregiver.
It's just torture. I mean, a cuck would imply he's interested.
The caregiver slaps him, like gets annoyed and actually does like all those horrible videos you've ever seen with a Haitian caregiver in a nursing home. He didn't want to go that far. He didn't want to go too real with it. So it's like a twinky white guy instead. But it lets you know Ari Aster's online somewhere. He's probably like a groiper or something, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I will say one thing. I think the social media portrayal in this film, it might not seem like much to think about, but I feel like all the elements, as far as like Joaquin Phoenix, like bringing the ring lights like into the restaurant with him when he's filming, and just kind of at the end when they're showing Brian becoming like the conservative influencer, just the fact that they can get the TikTok sort of layout correct, and some of like the blocky text auto translate or whatever that they do, auto caption. There's a lot of films that'll put something like that in the film, and they'll just be disconnected from it. It's getting, like some 60-year-old screenwriters putting it together. It'll look like something kind of stupid or off-putting. It's not correct. But everything in this movie, between the people in the grocery store that are recording Joe Cross not wearing his mask, and even him doing his little Facebook videos in his car, everything is very accurate feeling as to what it would be, from us just perceiving it organically ourselves as social media viewers. So it might be a small detail, but it was appreciated by me that it wasn't just totally, phoned in.
I did write down the quotes that Joe Cross had to say when he's giving his speech in the car. If we want to further see how saintly this man is. I mean, I think these might be better quotes than anything Jesus says in the Bible, to be honest. Is it worth it to combat a virus that isn't even here at the cost of being at war with your neighbors and your family? You can ruin a man's day, or you can do the right thing and be kind, and you can free his heart. We need to free each other's hearts. And some liberals watched this movie, heard that speech, and thought, oh, this is some satire about conservatives. They sure look stupid now, wanting to love their neighbors and not try to kill them and make them starve to death.
It makes me wonder how Joaquin and the other actors were interpreting this movie as they got the script and were performing the lines. Like at least Joaquin, I guess, must have had that thought in his head as he's playing this character, right?
I think he becomes the character. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix has personal opinions. I think he was Joe Cross for 4 months.
What a name for him to be. Joker-Oss. Oh, that's right. Think about it.
Well, this movie was in development for something like 14 years. Because
wait, really?
That can't be.
Yeah. So
damn.
There was a script that existed before Ari Aster was even like known for Hereditary, maybe around like the same time that he did The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, that short film, and he was shopping it around. And on a similar note to S. Craig Zoller, Dallas Saunier was attached to produce it, and the original. When they were pitching it to different studios, it was originally going to be Paul Giamatti as Joe Cross.
Oh, man.
That'd be good.
The COVID element wouldn't have existed in 2010, so I'm very curious to get my hands on a copy of that script and see what
would have been like.
What is the atmosphere here? Yeah, what is the...
Yeah, that's crazy, because Edington is the most contemporary film I've seen in my entire life. Like, nobody's made a film about the modern day like this ever. So I can't imagine one page of that script, because it'd be completely different.
You can do some stuff with social media and some stuff with like how people are extremified or
social media 14, 16 years ago, though.
That's like MySpace.
Yeah.
That's like Facebook just coming in.
That's before.
That's like 2010.
2012.
Yeah, so it is like Coney 2012 era of people getting on Facebook, keep people getting
like the memes would have been like advice dog. Instead of the Galaxy meme with an arrow that says you're here paying taxes to pedophiles. I like that he put that in the movie. That seems pretty red-pilled.
That's right.
Yeah, this is the most contemporary feeling film I think made with this budget. There's been a couple of movies in the last like 5 years that have dealt with that on like a micro budget scale. Think about like The Code or Rachel Ormont. But by comparison, like nobody's touching the modern subject matters that have pervaded our lives the last 10 years, the last 5 years especially, with this amount of money, with these caliber of actors. And it's just so refreshing. I really feel like Eddington hit the reset button on everyone's approach to handling the current day, because I feel like up until this movie, everyone has been petrified of doing that. And that's been a criticism of like Robert Eggers and even Ari Aster, I guess, as well. Although Beau is Afraid kind of feels like he is commenting on
there's definitely some modern day commentary on that stuff.
Yeah. But for the most part, you have these young auteurs and nobody wants to deal with now. Nobody has wanted to. They always go back to the past.
Is it hard to make a horror film in the age of cell phones? Is that why they keep making period pieces? Because it's just too easy to communicate with people in the modern day.
I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is we've been exposed to serial killers through true crime, and we have a better understanding of them, so the mystery there isn't really as spooky. There's that, we're less religious as a whole, as a country. So like the idea of like demons or any sort of like spiritual presence, it doesn't float with a lot of people. It's hard. It's a much more difficult thing to tackle. I mean, one of the more effective ones, I think, from the last decade has been Red Rooms. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I want to see that one.
It kind of exaggerates the dark web and like the bidding of for like snuff films and things like that, but it does it otherwise pretty well, and it's pretty red-pilled on how females are when it comes to true crime and what actually generates the interest there. So I think it's more difficult. The avenues are closing up, but there's a way to do it.
There are sections of the beast that are particularly pretty online.
Lores, would you ever make a modern horror film?
I mean, isn't that Mass State Lottery?
No, that's not a horror film.
It really is. Come on, man.
I think it's a little bit.
I was mostly jerking off. I didn't get scared during the movie.
Well, just during the Han scenes, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you qualify that as horror, I'm gonna have to reevaluate if I want you to make a horror movie.
Like a traditional. What do you? I mean,
Yeah,
like a slasher?
Mass State Lottery was definitely a thriller over a horror.
Sure, but there's a spooky mask. There's a slide. There's a cat meow. It's at night. It's dark.
Yeah,
I think the real low-res horror calling. Let's expand on his dating advice segment on how to get women from Instagram in that movie. I think that's some kino that could really be landing topically in the modern day. Like,
yeah, that'd be horror to women.
And they're the ones doing all the true crime podcasts. I mean, I don't know about you gentlemen, but in my life, if I surveyed all the true crime podcast listeners in my friends and family and said men versus women who listen, I would imagine the women probably are consuming about 400% as much at the very least of that compared to the men.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking of Mass State Lottery from Lores' character being the protagonist, but if I think about just neutrally what his character is, I guess he is kind of a horror monster even in his own right, the way he treats other humans. So I guess it is really a horror picture all around.
I would definitely be interested in doing like a more overt horror something. I've been asked to do that from like somebody else producing and their script, but it didn't really appeal to me. It was a little too wacky. But
all right, brain blast. Hold up, steal this idea. Rear Window, we just said body double, right? Rear Window, low res is hacking into the Ring cameras and stuff of a girl. This is really, you can look this up. They're like, there's hackers, they hacked into people's Ring cameras and like their babies' like bedroom camera, whatever, like these have been accessed by hackers. This is a real deal, so this isn't even made up. But he finds a girl he likes, hacks into her Ring camera, or whatever. He's up in her, watching her cameras in her house. He's enjoying this thing. All of a sudden, a burglar comes in and ties her up. She's being held hostage. The guy's like doing all kinds of stuff in the house. What's he gonna do? There's something there. I feel like, as they think about it.
I think I might be typecast as a social cyber stalker if I keep doing that, though. I don't know.
Yeah, you played it well in Mass State Lottery, man.
Some people would beg to be typecast. I mean, the fact that you're getting work consistently, you should be proud, even if it is a freakish pedophile on a computer watching people get raped. You know, at least you're working.
Yeah.
I can tell you from being the king of Iron Seal that, you know what, there's always somebody looking for a creepy guy to play a creepy guy in a movie. It's a popular thing that people are looking for. I had never, I felt like I wanted to hold myself to a higher standard, so I was refusing people. Maybe that was the wrong move, years down the line. But in any case, it's out there.
Can we make a movie where Eggy, Low-Res, and Hans are all playing super creeps?
Whatever that movie is that I already did the scene with Hans.
Yeah, I was going to say, Disorderly might be the movie for that. I don't know.
Well, what if it's a Three Stooges, but instead of being comical and whimsical, they're like outdoing each other in terms of being creeps and freaks?
The Three Splooges.
I like it. I'm game for it. If you got a script, let's take a look.
I thought you were the script guy. I'm the ideas guy.
I'm the camera guy.
No, you're the on-screen talent in this one.
Listen, I do it all, but I like to designate myself the camera
You're
guy.
splooge number 2.
Sure.
Hey, Ari Aster, he starts off making all these horror films, and, I don't really care so much for Hereditary or Midsommar. Beau's Afraid, I fucking loved, one of my favorites of that year. And now this one, I feel like he's gone away from horror completely. It's like a completely new genre for him as far as I'm concerned. And are we hoping he continues in this direction for his next film, or do you want to see him return to more traditional horror?
I thought I saw that he had an idea for a soft sequel to Edington that he wanted to do, like not a real sequel, but existing, I guess, in the same town,
within the world.
Same world. Yeah. I think that could be interesting. Maybe I'm confusing him with Robert Eggers or somebody else, but I feel like his next project was already announced, wasn't it? I mean, I would like him to deal with more like this. This feels like it's more in line with Beau's Afraid, and I found that movie pretty funny. So I vibe more with this definitely than his horror. Although I respect Hereditary, Midsommar. I enjoyed the first time I watched it. When I watched the director's cut, I hated it. So
Too long.
Too long, too much whining, just too whingy.
So would you agree with me that he gets better with every movie?
So far, yeah. I don't think he's fallen off.
With an asterisk that the strange thing about the Johnsons, I did watch that in middle school with all my friends in my buddy Chum's basement, and we loved it. I've probably seen it 10 or 15 times
I've never seen that one.
It was what, 30 minutes? Do you know what it's about, E-Rich?
No,
I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't learn what it's about until you
I've heard that people don't like it. So
they should love it because it's amazing. If I'm going to rank it against his films, I'd say it's third place, right under Beau in this one. Okay. It's really funny.
What I really like about Ari Aster stuff is how mean-spirited a lot of it is. He just is never willing to give anybody a break ever, and it is just about the worst imaginable fear coming to life. And I think exploring that is fun. Watching the characters go through that is fun. And I'm all aboard for it.
If he keeps this up, he might be one of my new goats. And I have not rewatched his first 2 horrors since I saw them in theaters, so I should give him a second chance now that I really love him recently.
He might be the best active millennial director. I think there's definitely an argument to be made that he occupies that role. I can't really think of anybody else. I mean, Zach Kreger's warming up. He's really good. But yeah, his track record's very strong.
Eggy, any final thoughts before we wrap this up and Low-Res does his anti-Hans show?
Well, I want to say thank you to Jimmy for his passionate plea at the beginning. I think he perfectly summed up a lot of my thoughts about it. So, but in summation, I think this kind of plays off of where we were at in our One Piece podcast as well. Make sure to go look up Monkey D. Jones, like and subscribe over there too. The premise, which is, above all else, goes to show that the rich and powerful people are willing to do anything in order to keep on making themselves more rich and more powerful with some of these, provocative, antagonistic fruits dangled in front of our faces to keep our attention, putting certain what was the Janissaries? Was that right, from the Ottoman Empire? They'd kind of take people and elevate them.
Like their
You might
guards.
say house indentured servants, who were somebody who is still kept very low beneath the rich and powerful, but they're given just a little taste of power or money or something along those lines to sort of create further conflict amongst the common folk, us people that are down here and are being manipulated. And just like that review said, we're down here, we're doing all this with each other, but it's important to remember it's the people at the top, all right? The people who are putting the AI data centers that are going to suck up all your water so they can AI generate fake news. Think about it, okay? And don't let yourself get too caught up in the rigmarole. Know what's going on out there. Understand danger, okay? Be sufficient in self-preservation. Have some abilities and some skills that you can use to those ends, but don't let the algorithmic botnet twist your mind up, because no matter where you think you are, there's always somebody out there that's trying to step in front of you in order to put something in front of your face to get you messed up, get you twisted. Ari Aster did a great job here. Highly recommended. 5 out of 5. #1 film of the year, just like everybody else said.
And to piggyback off of that, Eggy, I think another lesson is every single politician is compromised and corrupt by definition, because anybody trying to get to that position of power who actually is in it for the people and actually passionately cares, like Queen Otohime or like Sheriff Joe Cross here, they will either be assassinated for trying to help the people, or they will be turned into literally a retarded puppet of the authority. So don't trust any politician. None of them are on your side, because if they were, they would be killed.
It's absolutely true, unfortunately.
That's a very bleak, nihilistic ending to this podcast. I was going to do a practical joke and say, okay, Hans, I'm on for Halloween too, and then not tell him you three guys were here. But he's pulling oh, dude, my computer's broken. I need 15 minutes to fix it. So
right.
So he finished watching that movie then.
Minutes of
so
Halloween
he's still
too,
watching the movie. He'll be done in about 10 minutes. That's really
Does he know you can watch movies at like ×2 speed on these websites?
He should know that you can watch the movie a day or two in advance, because we schedule these out weeks ahead of time.
I'm disappointed in him because I know he's seen the opening 40 minutes of Edington, and the fact that he's not compelled to finish it is disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to hear his opinion because it sounds like he didn't enjoy it.
That's the only thing we could glean, right? If he actually did watch those 40 minutes.
I believe him on that.
I don't.
E-Rich, is this your movie of the year as well?
Yeah, so far. I mean, it's possible I could see something else that would dethrone it, but for sure, it's #1. Right
We've
now.
got 2 months left, 2.5 months left of the year. Is anything going to dethrone this? Because all 4 of us said it's the best picture.
I'm looking forward to Marty Supreme. I think that one could be great.
Yeah, Marty Supreme could be good. The Park Chan-wook movie.
Avatar 3.
Coming out. Fire and Ash.
Probably won't beat this unless Joaquin Phoenix shows up.
Yeah, there's not much left. Not off the top of my head.
Wicked for Good? That might be a 6-star film.
Oh, yeah.
We just all get on an episode where we're like, Wicked for Good is the movie of the year every year, all year.
Lores, do you know who Aryeh is from the Fish Tank?
REA?
Yeah, Aryeh's a bald guy. He was on Fish Tank, Jewish guy.
Oh, wait. Is his head all fucked up? Does he have a bunch of, like, it looks like a ball sack in the back?
I don't know about that, but we reviewed the Wicked musical with him, and then he's coming back to review Wicked for Good. So if you want to jump on with the Fish Tank guy to review that, you're invited.
Well, if it's the guy I was thinking of, then I was rooting for him before the season got canceled. I might be up for that. I mean, I gotta think about it, because I gotta go watch the first Wicked movie.
No, you don't. Just watch the new one. Skip it.
Just
Fuck
watch
it.
the new one.
See if it stands on its own.
Watch the last song and then start watching the movie.
Yeah, watch it backwards to see if there's a hidden message in the lyrics.
All right, I'll have to think about that one. But I gotta hop off this now. I'm already 5 minutes late, but I get
All right. Peace,
wait.
people.
All right, that's been movies for this week. Thank you for listening.
Recording stopped.
Aces.
See you
Sounds
guys.
good.